Oh, yeah, we are into the top 5, according to you guys. It's another team profile and projection here from the Talkin Baseball crew, which is presented by DraftKings. The Chicago White Sox, young Jake, they finished last year 35-25. They had a breakout star. They went to the postseason. They're on a 95-game win pace had it not been a shortened season. They added more people this year. They were active. Can you tell us what they did?
Yeah, Jim, it's funny seeing this on paper because they lost some dudes. They lost James McCann. We just talked about him on the Mets. He was an important part of that team. Alex Colomé on the back end had a really good year last year. Dane Dunning, the young pitcher who's righty that I always mentally think is lefty. I think it's a 2D thing. Nomar Mazara, Yolmer Sanchez, Gio Gonzalez, Shoe King, Gerard Dyson, our guy, and Uncle Edwin. Edwin Encarnacion's still unsigned, so maybe he comes back at some point. Jim, who they added? They added big pieces. They didn't play the depth game this free agency. How about Lance Lynn in the trade from Texas? Big fastball eating Lance Lynn, chewing up innings. In the back of the bullpen replacing Colomé, how about Liam Hendricks? Coming off of his magical year, he gets the bag. He'll be closing for them. And Adam Eaton for some of the corner outfield spots. We remember how good he was with the Nats. We'll see how he looks with the White Sox. So 3 important guys for this White Sox team, but they lost a lot of other bodies. But Trevor, another. I'm loving these lineups at this part of the TPPs.
I do too. And this is where I think like the tier starts, like the top tier starts. And maybe they're teetering on this line here, but I'm going to put them into that kind of top tier. But yeah, again, the lineup is great. Catcher, you got filling in for McCann. Not a bad option here. Yasmani Grandal, who can swing the stick like big time. Gotta love that. And that's a theme in this lineup. They can hit. First base, reigning MVP, Jose Abreu. I love him. Some of the best at bats you're ever going to see. Does not get flustered. Love that about him. Second base, listed here, we got Nick Madrigal, a guy that puts the ball in play a lot out of Oregon State. He's a Beaver?
Wow.
I love that. Shortstop, our guy, Tim Anderson. He's also on my hot guy list. He continues to prove everybody wrong. He's turned himself into the real deal. A lot of guys pointed to his BABIP being so high. That's why he hits for such a high average. He's just proved everybody wrong every single step of the way. So love Tim Anderson. Third base, Yohan Moncada, who's just a raker. Left field, Adam Engel. Center field, Luis Robert. Right field, bringing back Adam Eaton. And DH, they got our guy Eloy No Buttons Jimenez. They got a lot of other guys coming up, too. This is a very deep, long lineup. They score a ton of runs. I love everything about it. Jim, I want to hear about the pitching staff, please.
The pitching staff. Let's talk about the pitchers. Our guy, Lucas Giolito, Trev's friend, co-host of the Chris Rose Rotation podcast. He is their ace. He is their opening day starter. That has been confirmed. They traded for Lance Lynn, as Jake told you. We are big Lance Lynn fans. We like that guy. Dallas Keuchel, he's still with them. Actually, has he been pitching in spring? Is he hurt? What's he been doing? I haven't heard his name in forever. Dylan Cease, Carlos Rodon. What's that?
Got engaged.
Dallas Keuchel got engaged to Kelly Nash.
Congratulations. They have like a camp battle going on right now between Rodon and Lopez if they go to just a 5-man. And I think Rodon is winning it as we speak. Kopech is there. How are they going to use him?
It's a conversation for sure.
My goodness.
It's a conversation for sure.
Hendricks is the big reliever. Aaron Bummer. He's got fun stuff and a good name. Evan Marshall, Matt Foster in the pen. I like Lance Lynn so much.
Yeah.
I like him teaching everyone else how to throw fastballs.
Those are two very confident dudes there, Lance Lynn and Liam Hendricks.
High T.
Forcing those guys to be confident out there.
I think they project their confidence differently, but it's the same confidence.
God, they're kind of the same. Like, I don't know Lance as well as I know Liam, but talking to Lance, it's just like they're not going to go around shouting at everybody, but when you talk to them, it's there.
They also got Russa. Have we talked about him at all?
Ooh, hasn't been a ton of manager talk throughout this.
The new manager.
Lucas just had some nice words to say on the Chris Rose rotation about that, which was interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest managerial storylines. The media was kind of up in arms, this old man with this young, fun team, and then a little drinking and driving. It's something to follow. I hope for baseball it doesn't become a story, because that means the White Sox are playing meh, and people are pointing at Tony La Russa. I don't know. I've kind of moved past it. It is what it is. The manager only has so much effect on the day-to-day, and it sounds like he came in and kind of served his humble pie and told the guys, like, I'm going to have to earn it and all that. So we'll see. Let's hope that's not a storyline.
We talk about managers on this show a lot. They're as good as your players. So he's going to be a good manager because he's got good players. Now, if he messes up and does something wrong in the clubhouse, that's the only time we're going to hear about it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Fangraphs
Lucas told me the same thing. He said he's been great.
Fangraphs has Zach Collins scheduled in as the DH right now. He's lighting up spring. He was in a battle with Lucroy, I thought, for the backup catching role. But is there another injury that has him there? White Sox fans, I apologize. I don't know this right now, and I'm just asking.
Yeah, I believe, and hey, you guys know your team better than I think that's an option for them. I think Eloy is looking to get some DH days, and if you remember, Eloy had that thing like, no.
Fuck that.
I like playing left field.
Wasn't that what he said? They're like, do you want to just be a DH? He said, fuck that.
Yeah, so, and because I know they like Angle a lot, they like Lurie Garcia, so I think there'll be some moving parts there. I think their best full tilt lineup, and this is opinion, would be with Eloy at the DH, because I think Adam Engel actually did some hitting recently. But yeah, I mean this is the lineup. My guy Danny Mendick on the bench.
Yeah, Engel had a good 2020. Before that, he hasn't been an above average hitter, so he's got to prove it. I mean, there's a lot of ways. They have depth. There's a lot of ways they can go with this lineup, and that's one of the reasons we like them a lot.
We like them.
I actually just got a Zach Collins baseball card. How about that? I was in a break online. My guy Longoria was in one. I got in it.
Card guy now?
And when I get bored, these guys are doing this stuff like on Instagram Live. You can just jump in and say, yeah, I want to be part of that break. It's cool.
It is kind of cool. That's how.
Anyways, I got a card, and these guys were telling me, young, good hitter, surrounded by a lot of talent. He could be a guy to look out for. I got like an autograph card from him. So now I'm rooting for him.
It's huge.
Tim Anderson, very happy that he threw up another great result season with the 322 batting average and 357 on base percentage. A lot of people were like, the BABIP favored him and he can't repeat that. And it's, he got a lot of luck. And I was rooting for him to shut those people up and just do it again. And he did. So he'll be leading off for the White Sox. I think Tony La Russa talked about putting one of the pesky guys like Madrigal or Eaton as the two-hole hitter and doing kind of the more old-school style lineup.
Of course he does. Of course he wants that.
Hey, it worked with the Nats. I was skeptical on the Nats when they went Turner Eaton, and I mean it made it pesky. It's one of those things. How does it end up looking? It is weird seeing Abreu, Jimenez, Moncada down 4-5-6. Luis Robert in the seventh hole. He's going to be an interesting storyline this season. Is he the first month guy that terrorized the league, or is he the second month guy that found him in a swoon? So much youth on this team, man. Nick Madrigal probably slaughtered that. A lot of people aren't super familiar with him, but he's supposed to be a special contact hitter, a special type of contact hitter. I mean, man, I don't know. For me, it ties into a lot of these young guys, and I think part of the reason we like this team is there's a lot of guys you know what you're going to get, which is tough to say around baseball. I mean, Keuchel, he's making his first start tomorrow, it looks like. I Googled that. But when Keuchel's on the mound, you know what you're going to get. Lance Lynn, you know what you're going to get. Giolito's pretty close to you know what you're going to get, which is pretty cool and good for him after kind of a tough start to his career. So, man, I don't know. I think this all ties into Moncada. How much does he bounce back? He got COVID. He didn't look like the same player, and he openly talked about it. He said there's days when I'm just tired. I'm not the same guy, which, again, that's scary stuff there. What is Robert? What is Madrigal? What is Kopech, man? That guy has looked gross in spring training. Is he going to be a super swingman with them with Crochet? Because if so, that bullpen is so underrated. They can be grossos down there. If they call a birdie, holy smokes.
I think Kopech is a big storyline. I mean, I faced him. He's a guy that he's got all the stuff you need. So if he comes up and it gets into like the 4 spot in that rotation, that's a long rotation, and I love this bullpen. Hendricks in the back end. You got Crochet, who everyone loves, and then Cody Hewer.
Yeah, he's gross.
Doing it.
Gross.
So they have potentially a very long rotation, and I think they got a long bullpen, and they got a long lineup. That's why I like this team, and their manager's long in the tooth.
It's good to be long.
That's an expression.
I think they haven't rolled a game this spring training too. You know how in spring training, if your pitcher throws 22 innings or 22, 25 pitches, you can just be like, nope,
innings over.
I think Tony La Russa has said, like, we're not doing that. And like
that's
obvious.
Oh my goodness.
And like I think their spring record is awful because every time they get a bunch of runners on base, the other team just rolls the inning. I saw a White Sox fan being like, they keep rolling innings on us. Tony's not doing it.
Those teams, like the teams have exploited the loose like spring training rules. Like, my goodness, like it used to be like every once in a while you got to roll over. But now it's like, we're going to play 7 innings. No, let's play 6.5. No, let's do this, do that. Like, they don't care at all. And I think it's for the better. And it's just funny that you're telling me that Tony La Russa is not rolling the innings in spring training. Guess what, bro? You got 162 in front of you.
He's so excited.
This is what I'm talking about. If he starts pulling stuff like this,
well, don't get too fired up.
He will lose the clubhouse.
I don't have the stats on that. I remember reading it somewhere. I don't know.
Right, well, you got me fired up.
I love it. We're not doing that bullshit.
He'll lose a lot of those players if he starts acting that way.
Kopech has been coming out of the pen in spring. I think he's going to be in the bullpen, which I think is the smart way to start the season. That's like a really fucking good bullpen.
And he didn't pitch at all last year, so that would make sense to
limit
him in innings wise.
I like this team. I think that, in 2018 this team, or 2019 this team was like, it seemed the loosest clubhouse, the most fun clubhouse. I was reading about the clubhouse dynamic, and they had the whole thing with LaRoche and Drake, and they kind of changed, and they said, for the sake, like in their clubhouse, they're like, we just want a bunch of homegrown people that all came up together and like have been playing with each other, not the mix of trade, mix of veteran, all that stuff. So, Giolito's talked about how the clubhouse is really tight. I think they were having so much fun in 2019. I used to say, well, you got to win in 2020 because you can't be having that much fun if you're not winning. And they made it to the playoffs, lost to the A's, but now got their feet wet. Now I like the Lance Lynn move. I mean, Keuchel and Lance Lynn are Keuchel's dependable and good. Lance Lynn, you want to be like, yeah, he's dependable and good. And then you're like, oh, wait, he's fucking like was a beast last year.
He's been really good.
And the year before that. I mean, he had a 3.32 ERA last year.
And like they need any more bats, they got a guy named Andrew Vaughn on the way. 3rd overall pick in 2019. All he does is hit.
Is he going to get the call? He hasn't even played in Double-A or Triple-A, right? He's gonna
be a popular name you hear later in the year because when we talk about how good is your good and the best case White Sox, if he does get the call at some point this year, and we talked about kicking Eloy out to left, maybe you put Vaughn in the DH spot if he's the real deal.
I think he'll be there by the end of the year.
Oh, he's a college kid. He's a college kid.
So yeah, I mean there's a world. I know White Sox fans want it, so it'll be something to track, and they'll definitely be itching to see it, especially depending how injuries and different guys in this lineup are going. But
dude, can I tell you his college numbers from 2018? Who did he play for? Cal? Looks like he played for Cal. Played in 54 games, had a 402 batting average, a 531 on base percentage, an 819 slugging, and a 1.3 OPS.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Just lit up.
Pretty good.
P12.
Cal Berkeley, yeah. How about it?
Oh, don't let Bob Melvin sneak in on Andrew Vaughn.
Don't let Bob Melvin sneak in on Andrew Vaughn.
Don't let him sneak in. He's play all those Cowboys.
He might. I'm worried about it.
I just like, this is their window too, which I love that. Like, I love teams that like, oh, the window's down the road. This window is open. This is their window. How many years it's going to last? I don't know. 3 years?
And you know what I love about it?
Tell me.
The Twins aren't, like, my whole battle-tested theory? The Twins aren't battle-tested. They've been handed the division the last 3 years. Very good.
Not handed the division.
Last 2 years.
The White Sox finished 1 game behind them last year. Don't tell me they got handed the division.
Because the Twins went to sleep for a while thinking that no one was coming. And then someone came, so they turned on the gas a little bit.
Josh Donaldson kicked the dirt on home plate, and he got thrown out, and everyone was saying, oh, the Twins, that's it.
I think the White Sox,
up until
I think the storyline is going to be the White Sox win the division and then turn around to the Twins and say, and this is how you do it in the playoffs.
Wow.
See, here's my fear with this team.
Twins are like, shit, we got so many chances and we never won a game.
I still believe in the regular season Twins.
Me too.
And that's my only fear with this team is that depending on the playoff format, right now we're still 1 game wild card.
Yes.
Depending,
we're back to 10 teams, right?
Yeah, but you go there, you'd much rather Giolito or Lance Lynn.
I mean, it depends who we're playing and where.
I was playing them against the Twins, which would never work.
Right.
You like their wild card setup or playoff setup better than the Twins.
Yes, but as we did in previous episodes, I still like the Twins in the regular season. I still have the Twins winning the division. So you end up in a 1 baseball game, which is always scary. So that's where I get nervous about expectations for this team. I'm interested to see if the AL Central, if anyone can provide a little bit of smoke, what does Cleveland look like? And I don't know. Again, I expect a lot from this team. I do think they're the second most talented team in the American League. But there are some youth things, and I went through them before, and it's, what are we going to get from these young guys we love this season over 162? And that's the thing. I've just seen those Twins guys do it before, so that's why I believe in them.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Twins will be right there. I think it'll be a fun race. But I have a pretty detailed storyline.
Okay.
Going on in my head. Where the White Sox are doing good, not great.
Okay.
And they're trying to figure things out. And then there's some tension in the clubhouse. And Tony La Russa has to make a decision. Is he on Eaton's side or is he on everyone else's side?
Oh, my God.
And he says, you know what, Eaton, they trade him to the Twins, and then they just win the division by 12 games. Tony La Russa gets carried off the field. They drop him once. He doesn't care, barely feels it.
He cares, dude.
He cares.
He's hammered.
He's very brittle.
Yeah, it's not bad territory, I think.
It was a celebration. Champagne. White Sox
so that's something
win
to
the
look
division by
to.
10.
Keep Bob Melvin away from Andrew Vaughn.
Yes.
100%.
and all of that stuff.
You know anything about Eaton, Trev, that you would like willing to share? Like the fact that Ozzie Guillen said he's the worst teammate ever, and Todd Frazier.
I don't believe anything Ozzie Guillen says.
All right, what about Todd Frazier? Is like an openly very liked guy around baseball. Also said kind of.
I could see how they would butt heads. Todd and him have very different personalities, so I could see how they butt heads.
Likable and not likable.
Why is Adam Eaton not likable?
I don't know. That's the reputation he has.
That's what
Jimmy's asking. This is the thing.
you.
Like it's everyone's perspective in the 2019 Nationals. They loved him. So, it's all your perspective. Winning changes everything. So, I think this is a great fit for him. I like the way he plays. I do think that he is pesky, and I don't want to side myself with old school Tony La Russa, but I do like having those guys at the top of the lineup. They make pitchers work, and they get them pissed off, so the next guy gets a pitch over the plate. But I haven't heard anything about him. I besides the stuff on the surface from Todd and Ozzie, but Ozzie's his talk crap about everybody. So what are you gonna take his word for it? I'm not.
No, I was asking you.
Also, I think just to say it again because they deserve it. Jose Abreu did win the MVP last year, and I think we've mentioned him once. Pencil him in to be really good. And I almost used it on my Breakout Stars episode. It would have been a little bit of a reach because he's pretty well known. But Eloy, hitting-wise, we talked about him dancing between left field and DH. I think this guy is the next just like great 40-homer a season hitter. I love him, man. He is a beast.
Eloy.
You know how old he is, Jim?
Eloy, 25.
Eloy is 24.
Well, he's about to be 25. Next
Next up.
Lucas Giolito, if you take away his opening start from last season where he gave up 7 earned runs, clear outlier from his season.
Against two?
Doesn't say.
I can tell you.
Twins.
I love Lucas.
Well, if that start, you take out that start, 2.75 ERA the rest of the way.
Bang.
So we're butter knife in
elite.
Short season stats.
Trev, is there anything to pitchers throwing the same stuff? Because, Keuchel is heavy sinker cutter. Lance Lynn is heavy cutter, fastball, everything. Is there anything that, hey, we're coming to the park in the first 6 innings of each game, we're going to see 70% fastballs, basically?
No, because they're so different. Keuchel's fastball is so different than Lance Lynn's. Keuchel's just a strange at bat. Comfortable at bat, but one of those ones you just walk back to the dugout and you're like, what? I just hit that ball off the end of my bat, and I rolled it over to the third baseman.
I mean, last season, Keuchel was a completely different pitcher than he's ever been. What
did he change?
So, he's always been the 2-seam fastball 50% of the time or 40. Last year, the sinker went down to 32%. The cutter went up from 18 to 30, and the changeup went up from 14 to 27. It's the first time there's ever not been a gap between his fastball and another pitcher.
I could see that. If you got guys, he's throwing that sinker down on the way to righties, his changeup's down on the way to righties. If you got guys starting to get all over the dish on you, have to have a pitch to equalize that. Mm-hmm. So you start throwing the cutter in on guys to get them off of those pitches. So
his big years
now he's got to make an adjustment.
His big years, he was just the 2-seam and a slider. Those were his pitches. And now this
backdoor slider a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. This changeup has jumped way up.
Cut it.
Lance Lynn.
Hot. Very hot.
I love this team. I love the uniforms on this team. I love the personalities on this team. I love the players. I think the bullpen's great. The starting pitching's great. The lineup's great. This is a team. This is a team. It's fun to talk about this team.
Lance Lynn's pitch mix is so fucking awesome.
It's the best.
50% of the time he throws a 4-seam fastball. Fastball with no movement. His second most used pitch is his cutter, 22% of the time. Fastball that cuts glove side a little bit. And then the next pitch, 18% of the time, is his 2-seam fastball. Cuts arm side just a little bit. Just 3 fastballs. 90% of the time he's throwing a fastball.
Try to hit it.
90% of the time he's throwing a fastball.
Silly sport.
Love it.
That's so funny. There are different miles per hour, a little bit. What, do we have a fun stat?
Fun stat with left-handed pitcher Dallas Keuchel, 5th. Lance Lynn, 6th. Lucas Giolito, 7th. And Liam Hendricks, 10th. The White Sox have 4 of the top 10 2020 Cy Young finishers on their staff.
Hell yeah.
How about that?
They gotta like that. That's a really fun stat.
Keuchel got Cy Young votes last year?
He was good last year, man.
I remember that.
He
but
was really good last year.
He's in love. He was telling you, man, this love bug helps guys out.
How many people got Cy Young votes from the West or the East last year? They really should have given out 3 Cy Youngs. They should have given out a West Cy Young, an East Cy Young, and a Central Cy Young, since no one ever played each other. It's kind of like the national. There wasn't a National League and an American League last year. It's weird that they still kept it divided that way.
I
I see
didn't
what
even
you're
listen to
saying.
that question. I'm sorry.
I see what you're saying. It's some of the Central pitching numbers from last year were a little suspect.
Yeah, but yeah, I get that. We talked
I'm
about it all
saying
the time.
usually it's a National Cy Young and an American League Cy Young because the National League teams never played anyone but National League teams. Last year, there was no National League and American League in the regular season. There was East, Central, West. So it would have made more sense to give out 3 Cy Youngs for the East, Central, and West.
There can only be
Then
one.
You played your own league more than you played the other team, didn't you?
More, but not much more. It's kind of like division and other divisions, I guess.
It's just strange.
It's a weird
Just
year.
chalking up to who cares. It's a big number, guys. DraftKings number. It's a big number.
What do you got?
It's 91.5.
Mm.
It's a big number. 90 games is a lot of wins, man.
I'll take
So if you
it.
think this
Yeah,
team's
over.
elite,
Over. I don't think the rest of the division's that great.
I think them and the Twins are going to be 92 plus wins each, battling. Trev's thinking.
I have to take the over. I just
Okay.
wax poetic about how much I freaking love this team.
It's a lot
I'm
of wins.
curious if both those teams are going to be in the 90s.
I think so.
Hard to win
right?
90 games. Really hard to win 90 games.
They're pretty good. Their bullpen's good.
I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I'll take the over too.
I think this team's going to win 96 games. Like they're going to be one of those teams that wins that many
Okay.
games.
Dylan Bundy got Cy Young votes last year.
Yeah, my guy.
So did Framber Valdez.
Nasty.
Framber. All right. Go White Sox, go.
Kind of.
Trev's rooting for the White Sox on record.
Go, Lucas, go.
Trevor Plouffe said, I want the White Sox to win the division with all my heart.
Tell me the Russa, don't screw it up.